Hello and welcome to Northside Now. This is the podcast where your three lovable hosts take you on a tour through all of the ministries and the latest happenings around Northside Church to keep you better connected with your church family. I'm one of your hosts, Patrick, and with me as always are my two co-hosts, the illustrious Glenn Miller and the enigmatic man of mystery, Kevin Bryant. What's up, guys?
What's happening?
Hey.
What is happening?
Crack-a-lackin'.
I know that it's getting more crowded in our space around Earth. We've talked a lot about all that stuff, but there's a fact that I saw this week, and this will change as soon as I say it. It's going to be probably incorrect, but that SpaceX has launched this year a rocket every 9 days. That's the way from the number of launches they've had and the time span. So it's not actually quite like that. Sometimes it's closer, sometimes it's farther apart, but
Welcome to the future.
The skies are getting crowded, folks.
They are. And all we used to have was lightning bugs to play with.
But, it still is safer to fly than to, walk across the street or drive or something. That fact used to be in my brain, but no longer. So.
Yeah. Summer flew today, or as we're recording this today, she went down to Texas to visit her sister and all of that. And she was just talking about the airports are a little busier and stuff.
Opening up, yeah.
Everybody talking and moving around for the summer.
Well, my friend who is in Papua New Guinea trying to make her way back is encountering some issues. They've got positive COVID tests.
Oh,
no. They feel okay, but they're still registering as positive. And so some of the various airlines, because it's a pretty challenging trip from there to here. Many hops and different airlines and all that stuff. And so they're having challenges with each airline's specific requirements. And so maybe they got so far, but then they're turned around because they have a positive test and all this stuff. So they're encountering some challenges, but air travel is at least opening up, and it's easier to get to the places that we need to go.
Wow. As we're recording this, we did here recently, Patrick, and we did a fire pit thing back here on a Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really fun.
It
was good to see people again. It was a good crowd, and we had s'mores and
got to play with some fire. That's always fun.
Fire. And some of the band and people and stuff from the church got together and did a kind of a bluegrassy set.
Nice.
It was good. Except we didn't have. Is it bluegrass if you don't have a banjo?
No.
Yeah, it was just acoustic.
It was just acoustic.
Don't you have to have a mandolin to do?
Yeah, when you take the mandolin and the banjo out, it's just.
And why don't we? If you're listening to this and you go to Northside and you play banjo,
where are you?
Where are you? Why are you not here? We need you. And nothing like a little banjo music in the summertime.
All right. My dad used to play.
I know. Where is he? Why is he not
Tommy
playing?
Cagle plays a little bit, didn't he?
He used to. I don't know if either of them have played in years, but.
Okay, so if you're listening to this, we're going to encourage them all to have a special solo at some point.
Yep. We could do a dueling banjos.
We need some dueling banjos. That would be so fun. A little banjo music for a Sunday morning. Be kind of cool.
All right, here we go. I found the exact information. So between train, car, boat, motorcycle, bus, and air, the safest is air.
Okay.
The least safest is what?
Probably
I'd say driving.
car.
Like just a car.
Yeah.
Nope.
Really?
Walking?
Nope. That wasn't on the list. But
Boating.
boat's the second worst.
Okay.
The worst is motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
See, that's the one that I thought, but I was like, okay, the way he's asking this, it's going to be a trick question. So
I'm a man of mystery. But yeah, that's, and boat would include cruise ships as well.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So.
Well, speaking of modes of transportation, here at Exit 82, they've been working on it forever. And I have noticed something new when they restriped it. They added a bicycle lane.
Oh, did they?
On Highland, there's a bicycle lane coming from Ridgecrest to almost here at the church. It goes just to the other side of Farmington.
So you can only ride your bicycle for about 200 feet. Then you're
through
done.
a very dangerous intersection, including an interstate.
That's all
I
you
would
get.
tell you, you have to be really brave to do that. I mean, I have to be brave to drive through that in a car. I mean, with all the lines that they painted,
know.
Yeah.
every time I drive through, of course it's still new, but it's like, am I really in the right lane or not?
I think you should have done it like a airport runway and have blue lights going this way and yellow lights going this way, and at
That'd be
night.
awesome.
It'd be kind of cool looking.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, a bicycle lane, that's pretty cool. It's kind of a weird spot for what I think, but
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I see that a lot, and I think it's good for. I'm not as much of a bicycler as I used to be, and it's easier in bigger cities where sometimes it's hard to travel with car. It's pretty easy by bike, but it has to have some sort of national regulation or something, right? Where transportation is allotted for those things to be a part of. And I don't know, maybe you get incentives or something to put them in, but.
Well, there are quite a few bikers in our area, and there is no, to my knowledge, of course, I'm not one of them, but just where I watch them, I mean, out by your house, they go up and down that
Windy
country
City
road.
Yeah, for sure.
It's dangerous. That is not a good place to ride, I would think, but they hit it up. So maybe it's the best of what we have around us. So,
well, you're not supposed to do it on U.S. highways, I don't think. Interstates for sure. You're not supposed
interstates for
to.
sure. But I don't know
people
about
do
US
things
highways.
they're not supposed to. all the
Right.
time.
Understood. But yeah, we're non-motorized vehicles aren't supposed to be on the interstate.
Yeah.
But if you're a cyclist and you're prepping for a 50, 100 mile race or whatever it is, where can you do that? You've got to be creative.
I know, yeah.
And I know that the folks that are in that sport know just from themselves, well, here's a 50 mile route.
Yeah.
Stuff
That's
like that.
when you just get your Peloton and you set it up in the living room.
Peloton. Yeah, that's not as dangerous as
That's right.
to me. It's a little, and because you have dogs chase you and all kinds of things,
You have birds, deer come out of the woods and run you over.
I know. It's just, I don't know.
Have you seen those videos like with folks that have their helmet cams, motorcycles and stuff? People- stuff jumps out.
And what bothers me the most are the ones that the 18-wheelers have on. And man, that's just so scary.
Oh, yeah.
Be careful out there, folks.
That's right.
Goodness
That's
gracious. We need you here, so don't be doing silly things on the byways. So Patrick, the countdown is on. So how is wedding prep going?
It's going. We're prepping.
It sounds so exciting.
I know. Every day we're a little closer. It's just, I mean, once we get there, it's going to be what it's going to be. It's just a little stressful until then.
Nah.
Getting all
It'll be
the little details put in place.
It is definitely wedding season. I mean, last couple of weekends there's been weddings and everybody's
Yeah. Right.
and anniversary showing up on Facebook and stuff. Everybody's celebrating. It is full blown wedding season right
is.
now. So,
Folks from this church for sure.
yeah,
are
we
connected
have a lot
to
of
the
weddings
church
this year. So pretty cool. And maybe if you've been to Northside here recently, or if you've been watching live stream, you've noticed we have the baptistry.
Yep.
And lots of baptisms going on as well.
Northside's Hot Tub.
So weddings and baptisms, kind of the mark of our summer this year. So kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Patrick, you've enjoyed getting that ready. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort to get that ready, but it's not a big deal.
No, it's not too bad.
I'm assuming it really can't be transported full.
No.
It's just way too heavy.
You have to drain it. And
I've not seen a mobile one like that before, so it's pretty neat. It has a heater in there.
it does, but it takes like at least 4 hours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I can't remember exactly. But
And it's not like warm, even
No.
at that, I don't think. I think it's just
tolerable.
Yeah,
you're not-
lukewarm at
So you're not
best.
getting into like freezing cold water. It's not the Arctic challenge.
I don't remember super clearly in my baptism. We did. It used to be, what's that church over there? This was actually in Jackson. It was the one on Oil Well, the community church that
ECC.
ECC.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know that it was heated. I don't remember it being heated, but they had the baptistry and we used it over there. But I was just going to say, was your baptism heated or not heated? Do you remember, were you sprinkled,
Well,
dunked,
I was
anything like that?
I was sprinkled. I don't really remember. It was
Got
before I was conscious, but
It would have been cold water at that point.
I'm sure.
Ew.
Yeah, I was sprinkled twice. I was one of
The
those.
first time didn't take.
The first time didn't take. You had to.
I was one of those that, as an infant, was baptized, and it was back
Yeah.
when the church called those blessings or dedications or christenings.
Right.
And then I was baptized again through confirmation and different day, I guess,
Sure.
back then. So,
Sure.
but yeah, so I was twice, and it was sprinkled both.
Got it.
And I don't know. To me, the water has never just been ultimately super important, and was never just a. It's interesting.
Yeah,
to
the
me
water doesn't really matter in a baptism.
Well, but the fact that we put so much energy and fight in denominations and other stuff about the importance of the water.
Yeah.
It's, I jumped on the strangely warmed Holy Spirit moving, and we recently went through Pentecost, and that's, just the movement of the Spirit kind of being a burning sensation inside of your life and urging you forward. I don't know, I jumped on that train pretty early in my life.
I mean, I think that's totally right. Yeah, obviously, the water is something that is a symbol, no question. Jesus' baptism involved water.
Sure.
And just because he was baptized a certain way, I think you're right. It's not necessarily about that. That's an important part of it. I think symbols are pretty powerful and important for us, but it's really the inward change that we're talking about here.
Can someone be baptized without water?
I would say yes.
I think so, because isn't it the Holy Spirit anyway?
I mean,
yes, I would definitely say. I would definitely say water's not what gets you to heaven.
That's right.
So, and the reason I was the day that I heard men and women fighting over when Jesus was baptized, the depth of the Jordan River.
Really?
Well, no, he was dunked. It was never that deep ever. And he had stood there and they just kind of poured water. He just sit there and he kind of ducked his head in it. So many different things. And when I actually heard an argument, I said, you know what, folks? We don't.
It's like, what is the eternal significance of this?
We are messed up.
Well, because even John said that, right?
Yeah. I baptize you with water. There's one coming who will baptize you with fire.
Totally right.
And Pentecost.
Totally right.
Bam. There we go. So, yeah. Goodness, we major on the wrong things.
Well,
so often.
And I've had this discussion many times. Why do we do that?
Oh, well, we want to be right?
Of course.
Well, it's our humanness in every single case. It's something we think is important. We're kind of missing the point.
Yeah, so many issues are that way.
And that's really sad. I often wonder, what our Lord thinks about that when he sees that happening.
Oh, yeah, he must just.
Well, if we didn't have that stuff to argue about, we'd have to focus on the real things and.
Oh, I know.
Right.
Look at that person.
The hard
over there.
stuff. Yeah.
They're hungry. Let me go over there and help them. Well, no.
We got to figure out baptism first.
That's right. We got to finish fighting about this, and things like serving widows and things in Scripture that we forget that we're told pretty sternly we need to be about. And we tend to think, well, but that's okay. But let me go do this. This looks better. This is more glamorous.
Yeah. We have to argue about styles of worship before we can actually.
And you want to really blow someone's mind. And worship doesn't have to be in a building. It doesn't have to include music, and it doesn't have to include preaching. It doesn't have to include anything. Any of that. Worship does not have to have those things a part of it. I probably just made someone turn off this whole podcast because I said that.
Is this podcast worship?
Could be.
I hope that it is.
Could be. Yeah.
In everything we do, it's supposed to be for the glory of the Lord.
Yeah.
And so hope that we approach everything we do with the spirit of.
These are the stimulating questions we ask on Northside now.
Well, they're great questions to ask, and they're great things to remind us that so often the things that we do get just so mired up about. Yeah. It's just not worth it, And again, we talked a little bit several episodes ago about The Chosen. And have y'all watched the latest episode of the second season, 5?
Yep.
I've gotten stuck on episode 5 of the first season. I was trying to watch it with one of my kids, and then we had some stuff that derailed our normal schedules. And so I'm stuck there, but I want to go forward, but I want to go forward with them watching too, just because we had some discussion early on, and all of us here in this room have talked about it, but just how different it makes us think about what maybe it was like in the relationships and understanding them differently than maybe we had before. And that makes for great conversation to explore that.
And in this latest episode, not to ruin it for you, Kevin, or anybody else, but they do some things with Mary Magdalene at the end of the episode that has created lots of conversation.
Oh, really?
about her role and things and stuff. And so, but it's open-ended. They're not 100% sure where it's going completely, but it sure does make you question, because and they admit it's not what they're doing with her right now was not in Scripture. It's not painted in Scripture, but so it'll be interesting to see, or is that going to be something that one of those things that people get stuck on and want to fight over? Or are they going to stay with the message that's being ultimately portrayed? So
when I did, my daughter sent me something yesterday. You guys may be familiar, and I'm not endorsing anything, but the conversation, it's Talk at the Red Table or something like that with Jada Pinkett Smith and Willow and their mom and various people.
Don't get me started.
And but and that's really not the point here. Is there was another conversation about race relations in the country, and I know I don't necessarily want to get into that particularly, but I know that it's polarizing conversation in our country and has been since the beginning of our history, right? But one of the things that was brought up, and I'll frame it in this context, is similar to our mental health conversation. When we become afraid to talk about it and to have real, honest conversations, that's when something's not right.
Yeah.
We should be able to try at least to have those conversations, because if we don't, our perspectives never change. Our thoughts never change. Nothing will ever have an opportunity to change unless we discuss it. And I think some of the most meaningful conversations that I've had, and really challenging and maybe convicting for me, is having conversations around some of our strongest divisions as Christians. And not necessarily that we should be looking for a fight and going into that kind of a conversation, but there are differences. There definitely differences. And I think the more that I've had conversations about them, it really comes down to misunderstanding. It comes down to just an unwillingness to have an open mind. And so I'm encouraging for myself, for me to not shy away from those conversations as much. I know feelings get hurt, and that's hopefully not intentional in good, healthy conversations. But if we don't talk about it, then
nothing will ever change. Yeah,
exactly.
You can't move forward unless you address the issue.
Because let's be honest, we grew up with the way we grew up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Makes a big.
Our ideas come from our personal experience, and if they're not a shared experience with someone else, we probably won't understand anything about where they're coming from unless we hear from them.
Yeah. Totally.
And how can you do that without a conversation?
Yeah. Well, it's just like we recently did a Donkey Talk episode, and we started it off talking about just how different people talk and use different language and different words and accents. And I recently had a conversation in a store with a girl who called a water hose, a garden hose, a water pipe. And it's a garden hose, pipe's rigid, hose is not. But she just grew up in another piece of the world, and that could have been such a polarizing thing of what I wanted to purchase at this place was a garden hose holder, and she's like, a pipe holder, or a hose pipe. And now, but we get so what we were talking about was that versus, was there a Southern Galilee, did they speak a little different? Did they not like the Samaritans just because they had an accent?
Yeah, right.
That's the thing. But I know there was ultimately more and more part of that. But that's how feeble we are, mentally and emotionally, and have always been. It's not this is not something brand new to us, to the world.
Well, and the thing I think about too is that as humans, we're so short-sighted, and God is totally not short-sighted. He can obviously focus in on specifics, but his plans are so much bigger and greater that we can't even imagine what they're like. I don't know if you've heard of, I think it's a book series, Dinner with a Perfect Stranger. They made it into a movie a few years ago, or actually a couple of movies, because I think we might have gotten it from the church library or something, but we watched, or one of my daughters watched that, and I watched it with them. And the concept is that this person who's sort of struggling with faith and religion and how all that fits, and is it for her, and all that kind of stuff, gets invited to a dinner with someone she is told it's Jesus, but she doesn't believe that and whatnot. Yeah. And it just goes through a lot of different perspectives of how faith really actually works. And of course it's written by humans and that kind of stuff, but it really challenged me to think about, okay, why do I do the things I do? And I thought it was a really good way to explore that, and to consider from a different point of view that maybe I'm wrong on stuff.
Yeah.
And what would that mean if I'm wrong on stuff? And again, it points you back to what are the truths we know, right? You got to hang on to those truths. There's biblical basis for what we do. And, so anyway, I always, for myself, try and challenge myself to think openly and broadly, and perhaps be challenged and think differently.
And we can't be like this where like, oh, I'm glad Kevin admitted that he could be wrong, because I know I'm not, you know, right. That's the problem too. Then we run into that person like, oh, my way is the only way. And, and that's, and sometimes those are our politicians, and sometimes they're our parents, and sometimes they're our kids. So, but the reality of it is remold me, make me, create in me a new heart. You are the potter, I am the clay.
Yep.
You are the shepherd, I am the sheep. It's the thing of us surrendering, having the courage to surrender to a God who loves us in such an incredible fashion that he will take care of us, and he will watch over us. But, we are pretty individualistic and pretty rugged, want to do our thing.
Yep. So, always are, always will be. It's our humanness, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Patrick, what do we have in the hopper for things to do that gets people together and starts talking about moving together as a church? And
well, we had a lot of stuff, and now we're about to have not a lot of stuff.
Well,
kind of
until August. And the normal Northsider is probably going, what is he talking about? It's June about to be. And
I know, right?
Green Sheet month, but green sheets are going to be a different time of the year this year.
We're going to do those in August this year. So
yeah,
same thing. It's like normally we'd be doing the youth musical right now. Well, that's been pushed back as well. So it's at a time when we're normally like covered up with stuff. It's we're actually like getting into summer a little earlier than normal.
Well, and a lot of those things, it takes a lot of effort planning and preparing those things early on.
Right.
Even something you're like a green sheet, you just print it off. No, it's a little more involved with that. So we do have some things coming up this summer, but there will be a few of the traditional things that you're used to that will be a little bit later, so we can have them done properly.
We do have a couple of things. The next thing that I have on my list is June 5th. It's a Saturday. Is the K through second grade field day outside behind the gym and in the gym.
Yes.
So if you got K through second grade graders, come out and have a good time. The next day, June 6th, that's Sunday, there's a Stephen Ministry information meeting in room 301. So if we did a podcast on the Stephen Ministry, which if you haven't listened to that, go back. That's got a lot of good information too. But we're having an information meeting at 2:00 in room 301 on June 6th. So if you're interested in learning more about Stephen Ministry, I would recommend going and checking that out. Let's see, what else do I have? June 12th is the 3rd through 5th grade field day, the next Saturday.
Cool.
June 12th. That is also at 10:00 behind the gym. And then the 13th is when Pastor Don's deciding to leave us. And
Why do you say that?
sorry,
He's up and out of here.
a little callous. I'm sorry. I'm not bitter or anything.
Well, he's really retiring, so that'll be fun for him.
Yeah, we're happy for him.
Transition to what comes next.
That's right.
Yeah. And then I guess the next thing I have isn't until July 12th, which is VBS.
And that's a big thing.
That is a big thing. If you want to help out with that, or you still want to sign your kid up, you can go to our website, Northside Jackson, and click on the VBS link and get signed up for that.
That's
help out with.
That's our first big thing.
Yeah.
Really, our first really big church-wide big thing. That's happening.
Yeah.
And there's another big thing coming up. And when I announced this at the 9:00 service here, it's going to be a couple of weeks or more. I almost got a standing ovation. I was surprised whenever people were clapping back to me. And we got another group that's getting back together.
Yeah, I guess I probably should mention this. My dad will be happy.
Yeah.
The choir is meeting again.
I know. That's cool.
That's exciting. People are happy about that.
And the good news about that is all along we have been told that the choir would be one of the last things to kind of come back online.
Yeah.
And we're doing one of the last things.
So it's really a sign that we're kind of getting back to normal.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So it's over?
I don't know about
Don't
that.
jinx it. Knock on wood.
This is not.
Now it's not. Thanks, Kevin. You ruined it for all of us.
It's all because of me.
Well, it does sound like it's definitely better. And you know, there are people talking about it's getting, you know, that word is being used even in the national broadcasting zones. And,
Right.
you know, I always wondered who would be the one to say, all right, that was fun. It's done. Let's do something else.
Yeah.
And so yes, it is.
But
getting
yeah,
closer.
The choir's back.
That's great.
They meet on Wednesday nights at 7:00.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
I believe I'm right. 7:00 on Wednesday nights. So if you want to sing along with them, they'd be glad to have you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The more, the merrier.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Well, you were mentioning the kid things a while ago, and we do this about once. Well, just only it's seasonal. You know, you remember the little colored popsicle things that you would have in the freezer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Those things that, you know, we have them for the kids and stuff. So every summer we buy a box of them, and it's so nice to walk in there and grab one. But my question is, because I saw this on. It's been across the socials here lately. Which color was your go-to color when you saw the pop ices or the flavor ices out there? And what was your go-to color when they were laid out in front of you?
Orange.
Grape.
I was a red guy.
See, I didn't like red.
See, I liked all of them, but
Yeah, I was fixing to say I didn't really discriminate. I
Well,
kind
if
of like
it was
all
there,
of them.
you
if
had
it was
it.
there, I had
that
it. But
light blue one is my least favorite.
But see, that was a late edition, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
Didn't
think
it used
so.
to be like red, green, purple, yellow?
I think
Or
yellow
orange.
was
It was yellow,
orange.
Orange.
Red,
It was orange.
orange.
Yeah.
It was red, orange, yellow, green.
Didn't they have a lemon flavor though, like the yellow? Now it's like
I don't know.
banana or
I don't think
something.
no, it's not. It's
They
more like
they
a
do have
green
lemonade
apple or something.
now, but
yeah, lemonade or
I just don't remember those. I just remember grape, lime, orange, and strawberry.
Yeah,
I
it was
guess, but
lime, not lemon, I don't think.
Oh well.
But
Did you know that a lime is a lemon?
a lime is a lemon.
Is that right?
Is it
Yeah.
a lemon family?
Tell me all about that.
They're the same thing. It's just one's more ripe than the other.
Really?
Yeah. Google it.
I never knew.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I never knew.
you might be about to witness the first fight.
I never knew.
I could be wrong.
Is a lime a lemon?
Just for folks out there, everybody has their device out and they are quickly tapping with their thumbs.
This is a new
Try and
segment. It's
determine.
called Prove Patrick Wrong.
All right,
I like
this is
it.
what it says. So when lemons are fully ripe and ready to be picked, they're a bright and vibrant yellow, while limes are more commonly green. If you leave a lime on a tree until it's completely ripe, it will be oftentimes turn yellow, which is why some people think that limes are just unripe lemons. They are not.
Oh, okay. See?
You know what that was? I told you so.
Yeah, exactly. But I was like, what?
And that's been our first segment of Prove Patrick Wrong.
I mean, next week he's going to be in here trying to make Kevin believe that Pluto's not a planet.
Or that Dogecoin actually exists.
Yeah, really.
No, I fight for Pluto. It was messed up. Pluto didn't deserve
Well, I had
that.
never heard that. That's the reason I was like, I mean, it was like the very first time someone told me a tomato's a fruit.
Yes.
And I lost my mind for a second.
Yes.
Yeah, we were having this conversation the other day. All of the veggies on VeggieTales, well, except for the asparagus, they're all fruit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It should be
Yeah.
Fruit Tales.
It should. Tales of the
Well, the
fruit.
peas.
The two
peas are
main
not fruit.
characters are a cucumber and a tomato, which are both technically
Both
fruit.
have seeds,
Yeah.
and yes.
And Grandpa grapefruit and
Yeah.
what about the asparagus though?
The asparagus are like the only vegetables.
And the peas, the little pea guys.
What about
Yeah.
carrot?
Is it carrot?
There
yeah,
is
I
a
guess
carrot
so, because it's
on there.
fruit. Is there a carrot?
Did we
I haven't
prove
watched
Patrick
VeggieTales
wrong
in a long-
again?
Yeah. But all the
I like this
berries,
segment.
But you're
all
right,
the berries
though.
are. Yeah.
I like the segment. We should keep it.
Anyways, it should be called Fruit and VeggieTales.
Exactly.
It doesn't have the same ring to it, I guess.
Oh my goodness gracious. So did you guys do anything for Memorial Day?
Well, we were here for church and celebrating, and then we did go up to the river and spend time with family. And
We didn't talk about it before it actually happened. It's coming out after, but I kind of wanted to, maybe see kind of if you guys have traditions. I know, Glenn, you come from military background. If there's anything you wanted to kind of say about that, about why we celebrate, or maybe celebrate's the wrong word. We remember.
yeah, we
right?
remember. Well, and it is remembering those who gave their lives for us. It's not a Veterans Appreciation Day. It's not, and I think a lot of people who have served, and just a lot of people in general, I think, are starting to, let's get these holidays that we celebrate or that we remember in the right places.
Right.
And it's not, Memorial Day is for those, it's for those who are not here. It's not so that you can go to Lowe's if you're a veteran and get your 10% discount. It's not about that. And so, and veterans will tell you that, that they're not interested in that. They do like to be appreciated. There's no doubt. But, and while we're talking about that, remember that we have a lot of young veterans that have been at war for a long time.
Right.
And they're just now, a bunch of them will be home. And around 4th of July, some of them will stay home and they don't like fireworks and loud noises. And, don't be messing around their yards and crazy things like that. Don't be, honor them by respecting them and remembering and helping them to remember the sacrifices made, because those are things you just will not unsee. And those are things that you will not ever forget.
Right.
And I think that's the best thing for us to do, is to not forget those that did what they had to do and took the chance, and so that we could do what we get to do.
Well, you say not forget, and that's something we've talked to you about quite a bit here, is that once we forget something, we're doomed to repeat it, or remembering history and those kinds of things. And that's, this started for us in the States. I mean, early on with war and kind of tragedy. Of course, with the Civil War, you have brother and families divided, and lots of different things there. And I think that's, if I remember correctly, that's sort of where the idea of Memorial Day or Decoration Day kind of started.
Decoration Day, I think so. It started.
I was reading a little bit that the Memorial Day takes place at like 3:00 or something, at like an official remembrance, and I'm not sure where that came from.
No, I've never heard that.
I think that maybe, I'm not 100% sure either, but I know that they do special things at Arlington Cemetery with the Tomb of the Unknown and those kinds of things. And
Yeah, that maybe
put
is
out
what
bills.
that is.
If you really want, I encourage everyone to, on PBS, it's sometime over the weekend, I'm not sure, they do a Memorial Day concert and they tell stories, they do things. It is wonderful. And so if you get a chance, PBS, I know it's like channels 10 and 11 around here, but PBS does a really good Memorial Day concert. You can go back and look at it, because I even like pbs.org or something like
We'll
that.
have
They
it,
play
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find it online.
But it's really good. Really good. That's a really good way to do that.
Yeah.
So
And of course, right, wrong, or indifferent, it's also sort of a sign that summer's coming, and people open their pools and have barbecues and things. And
Usually watch Top Gun on Memorial Day.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with doing any of those traditional things,
Right.
and gathering,
Right.
and barbecuing first.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
At all.
well, I just wanted to bring that up because we didn't really talk about it beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good time for us, and we're so excited that all the soldiers, sailors, airmen, coasties, and Space Force hasn't gone anywhere yet, but we're glad that they're all
we're launching a rocket every 9 days.
Yeah.
It won't be long before Space Force gets to do something.
glad that they're coming back home, and some will always be deployed, but it's good to have them out of the field
Yep.
as long as we can.
Yep.
So
Yep.
good deal.
Well, I'd be interested to hear from anybody listening to this what you kind of thought of some of our last podcasts, be they the mental health ones or otherwise. Just give us a shout out. And Patrick, how do they do that?
They can email us at podcast@northsidejackson.com, or they can DM us on our Instagram page, which is Northside Now Podcast. So either of those, or you can hit each of us up on our individual socials, and
We are out there.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from maybe somebody who maybe doesn't even live in Jackson that listens to the podcast, or just something
or you can
interesting
just
there.
call the church office and leave me a message.
I want to talk to that Patrick guy.
Let Patrick know what color pop ice you grabbed when you were a kid, or now even. So what's your color? Let him know that. He wants to know.
When you said that, I thought you were going to talk about the. I cannot remember the brand or whatever it was, but the push pop.
Oh yeah, the
The-
push pops.
Oh, sherbet ones.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't thought about
That
those
was
in years.
That was probably even more of a favorite for me than the Popeyes.
What a horrible trick adults played on kids. You want some ice cream?
Here's
Wow,
some
sure.
sherbet.
Here's some sherbet, and you got to drink it through a toilet paper roller.
And it gets all soggy by the time it's done.
But you know what? As a kid, I loved those
Of
things.
course.
I was not disappointed when I got
love
one.
them too. I still love them.
Did y'all ever try to make things out of the little stick in the plunger?
Well, we'd spin them.
Yes,
we'd
spin
spin
'em.
them
Yeah.
and see if they'd just kind of fly a little bit. But no.
Yeah, we would.
Did you build a rocket or something?
Well, we
from
try
it?
to do all kinds of things with them. We'd use them in different ways. Just try to put them together.
Nice.
Little kid Lincoln Logs or something.
Cool.
This is long before Legos.
I was going to say, I don't think we ever had enough to build
No.
anything out of it. We get
But-
one maybe every other week or something like that. I remember, but those were awesome. They're still good. They're still good.
And Jackson has many ice cream trucks now.
Yes.
I mean, just like over the last couple of years, there's like 4 or 5 running around here now. So
Now, are those usually down at the farmer's market or something? I know about the one out here north that's ice, but
Yeah, they kind of move around a
well,
little bit.
yeah,
they?
and I'm talking too about the ones who are going through the neighborhoods with the
Oh,
rings.
yes.
Oh, yeah,
and
like
the bells
actual
and-
ice cream
Yeah,
truck.
we have several down.
The music they play.
yeah, it's
Yes.
kind of interesting. So
some look kind of scary.
Some
if,
do.
If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
an ice cream truck proprietor, I'm not calling you out, but
you should not have a kidnapper van as your ice cream truck.
telling you. or music that goes.
It's like warbly as they play. Yeah.
So
Yes.
yeah, we're sorry about that kidnapper van, ice cream truck people, but yeah,
It's like you just have a little self-awareness. Like, come on.
yeah, really.
Kids, make sure you go to that ice cream truck with your parents.
But that is actually one of my retirement plans is to have an ice cream boat on the river.
Ooh, now that would be a
now
good
that's
idea.
actually
Just have the pontoon, put some
deep freezers on there.
there, and people can come over. And there used to be one on the river close to Perryville, and there was some issues with tax money or something. I think because their counties collide in the middle of the river, and they were upset about paying tax here and paying tax there. And it's like, come on, you know, poor person can't decide what side of the river on for every sale, you know. And but what a great summertime job that would be, passing out ice cream in a boat on the river.
One of my
sounds
kids
fun to me.
awesome.
talked about when he was younger that he wanted to own like a dessert truck that was ice cream and I don't know, some comment. He had some idea about the combination of tacos and ice cream. So I'm not sure
Interesting.
what that was.
Hey, that's our, no spoilers, but No, Elizabeth's dad makes homemade ice cream.
Yes.
It's called Papa B's homemade ice cream. We've been trying to convince him to get a truck.
And he does it well.
He does.
That's good stuff.
I wish it was here in Jackson and not
Yes.
over in South
Yes,
Carolina.
me too.
But that's why I'm trying to get him to like franchise, so I can just get it here all the time.
Why not? I mean, I'd buy it.
Oh yeah, I enjoy making ice cream.
Homemade
too.
ice cream is the best.
and his is really, really good.
Yeah.
Now, up where I'm from is Amish country. We haven't talked about that too much, but I went to a what was it? It was an Amish like dinner. So they'd make something called haystacks and all kinds of things, but they had homemade ice cream. But it was made from the churn was from a steam engine or something.
Oh wow.
What was it? A single cylinder steam engine.
Yeah.
That turned the crank, and it had a big old, you've seen the older tractors that have the big belts.
Yeah. Yeah.
That are just turned by a pulley, but it was this whole big contraption that turned this series of churns.
That's pretty cool.
It was still great ice cream, but it was fun just to watch that process happen. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
That is very cool. I would like to try that.
It's making me
love ice
hungry right
cream.
now.
I know. I'm an
It's
ice
time.
cream guy.
Yeah.
What do we have coming up from a podcast perspective? We've got a couple of things, don't we?
Well, we do. We are trying to get a few of our board leaders in here soon and have a conversation with them and visit with them. And some of the other ministries that we have, we're wanting to say hi to some of them as well. And we have your brother coming down the road here pretty soon.
Yeah, so I
that'll
think
be a good one.
Good opportunity to talk to someone we've mentioned in the past about the change, right?
Yeah,
And a lot of transition
Wait,
that we're
I don't think we've ever talked about change on this
we
podcast.
are now.
We're going to change that.
Prove Patrick wrong.
Oh no, I've started something.
I think you have.
Hashtag. The new hashtag.
But he's a pastor, and he's recently gone through some of the similar things we have as a church, but also in leadership. And so I think it'll be a cool opportunity to talk to someone connected to our church, but also that they would have a good perspective on it. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. We'll try and get that scheduled here in the before it gets too late in the summer.
And I'm going to tease this, and it's an idea that I have had, and I've not even shared with them. This is going to be an on-air teasing that I'm going to share with y'all. But hopefully, before summer is over, we will have a live podcast one time.
Oh, yeah.
So we will have a live podcast where you can interact with us during that. But hopefully before school gets back going, we can make that work. May have to play with platform ideas a little bit, but
that'd be fun.
we did talk about that really early on.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
But
we did.
I think this would be a good time to do it before we move into a new season and things like that. So a live podcast, hopefully by the end of summer.
Sounds good.
Get your questions ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can ask Patrick all kinds of married questions then.
That's right.
Oh, that's true.
That's
So
right.
that'll be good. So yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's always good to have a good conversation around stuff, and I enjoy doing it with you guys.
And today was a good one. So yeah, it's been fun.
Thanks for podcasting with me, guys.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And thanks to all of you for listening and joining us this week on Northside Now. Make sure you visit our website, northsidejackson.com. Check us out on Instagram at Northside Now Podcast, and shoot us an email at podcast@northsidejackson.com. We'd love to hear from you. Also, make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button. And while you're at it, if you find this show to be informative or entertaining, consider rating us on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. So once again, this is Patrick.
This is Glenn.
This is Kevin.
And that's what's happening at Northside Now.